I would ask ChatGPT right now, where are people in Clarksville moving to, right? And
Mm-hmm.
create
Mm-hmm.
that information that just was released by NAR about a month ago, right? Where people are moving from and moving to. So
Mm-hmm.
you can use ChatGPT and AI right now just to have really good conversations with the internet about the data that we're already seeing.
Hey guys, welcome back to Real Estateable, your go-to podcast for raw, real, and relevant information in the real estate world. Today, we are interviewing Nobu Hata, and if you do not know him, he is amazing. Like, he
Yeah.
has worn all the hats in real estate, and he is so up to date on all things AI and how agents can use AI to save them time and enhance your business.
I've been joking with the two of them that we're about to nerd out with them. If you know Ashley, you know she's the techie numbers of the two of us. And so I honestly feel like we're all going to really enjoy this conversation on artificial intelligence. So let's give it a listen.
Hey guys. All right, we are here today with Nobu Hata, and he is going to teach us all the things about artificial intelligence and its impact on the real estate industry.
And
So,
we saw Nobu originally last year in Nashville,
mhm.
and I feel like we've talked to a lot of people about AI. And your history and like how you got started in real estate was really interesting, and I think your take on everything was really great. So, can you kind of tell us about you and what led up to where you are today?
Yeah. So for me, I've been a real estate lifer, right? So my parents caught me making fake IDs and parking passes for buddies of mine when I was in high school, and they were like, "Hey, you need to go use your powers for some good. This real estate brokerage that I'm working with is going online, and they need your help." So like, I got my first summer there was filling a MLS book, and then the next week was buying all the computers at the Costco and hacking a 36.6 modem so that the content of the Alaska MLS could get downloaded onto
Wow.
16. Yeah, it was arduous and horrible. But yeah, I mean, since then, real estate's been in my blood. Sold up and down the West Coast into the Midwest. Became a leader at NAR, and then they recruited me to work for them for about 8 or 9 years. Then I went to Denver to run the association there, about 9,000 members. And then right around the time I met you guys, Zillow caught wind that I was leaving Denver to go back to NAR, and they gave me a offer I couldn't resist, and here I am a year later, and I've been immersed in that point in almost all things real estate tech. You know, I mentored DocuSign early on, reach companies for NAR, and I talk to startups every day. AI has been a big part of my work life for about 5-6 years, even before it became, a soccer mom conversation.
I always love like listening to you talk about like your hand in real estate. Very little of that was sales. A lot of that was support and running. Have you sold real estate in any of those kind of layovers that you were talking about,
No,
or is it a lot of like the okay, so yes, so lots of sales and on top of all the extra hats that you've worn as well.
yeah,
Okay,
I
okay,
got
awesome.
$300 million worth of sales under my belt since I turned
Okay.
22. Yeah,
Okay, so
Oh wow.
so maybe a little bit of experience in the real estate sales
yeah,
on that too, but it's awesome to hear like being able to do that with all of the other things, and I think that that's where we talk with so many people about AI, and where I feel like the conversation with you has been so different because it's back with a lot of experience, but not just experience in sales, not just experience like. I remember the first question you asked in Nashville was like, "Hey, how are you guys using AI?" And it was like, listing descriptions, social media posts. And it was like, okay, that is like not even the tip of the
Mm-hmm.
iceberg on the way that this can be affecting our industry. And so that's why we're so excited to have the conversation with you today.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited too because I didn't get to go to your class because we split apart. We're like, let's go to as many different sessions as we can. And so she went to yours and I didn't get to hear it. And she kept texting me, you guys, you needed to be here. It's so good, so good. And I'm like, ah.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. And I didn't take good enough notes. I'm not a cliff note person at all. So we're excited for sure.
Yeah, cool.
all right. So we've kind of talked about like listing descriptions and kind of like the basis of AI, but can you provide kind of like how AI is changing and and currently being utilized in the real estate market?
Yeah, I think, and I didn't mean to bag on anyone who was like doing like listing presentation stuff with it. I would say that's kind of the opening salvo, what it can and can't do
Mm-hmm.
using things like Chat GPT and whatnot. What I would urge anyone listening to this podcast right now is to really kind of think about what buyers and sellers, what consumers need right now. And that's kind of the gist of my presentation when I was out there at the National Bar Camp about this stuff. Because now being on the consumer end of things over here at Zillow, it's been kind of wild seeing how fast things have developed. Because we got to understand,
Mm-hmm.
over the next 3-4 years, there's going to be hundreds of billions of dollars spent in AI. No, almost none of it in real estate. Real estate would be almost a byproduct of what's happening. Almost all of it's going to be in retail, and with the way consumers are going to be not only engaging with brands, but buying the things on their websites, right, before, during, and after. So those are the things we need to watch out for. When it comes to things like how it's affecting real estate right now, yeah, you can't really understate the fact that folks are using it to write things, right, to save themselves time, which is by and
Yep.
large cool. That's fine. Um, just make sure if you're doing that, you are, if you're out there doing that, make sure that you are reading it afterwards to make sure that it actually pertains to the thing that you're trying to market. And at the end of the day, realize that everything online is feeding that, right? Feeding that output. So, more than anything, start asking better questions when it comes to those Chat GPT prompts. But where AI is starting to become really crazy is um, helping people make better decisions. So your existing marketing
Mm-hmm.
right now, right? What I would urge everyone to do right now is to add the Chat GPT plugin to their Chrome browser, because what it does is you see Google search returns on the left, but on the right, you see a summarized version of everything you just Googled in a very absorbable form, which has huge plays in how people will search for things like real estate agents, realtors, to help them with their transaction before, during, and after. So, like, that is already in play right now. And then on top of that, it's chatbots that use that information to relay really good questions and answers to a consumer to ensure that they are getting the needs that they want from a website, right? It's crazy what's happening out there. And here at Zillow, what we're seeing are what consumers didn't know about what they needed to search for, which, when you think about the play that the agents have and brokerages have into this, if you're not going out there and talking about the nuanced micro markets within your mass market that you help people buy and sell
Mm-hmm.
in, you're doing this game wrong, not only from the marketing perspective, but from the AI perspective as well, as more and more people start to look for neighborhoods, start to look for home styles. They start to look for where their friends and family have lived, right? So it's taking that really personal approach to a very broad um, Google search to get a summarized version of what they're seeing so they can make a decision quicker. And that is something that, if you're an agent out there, you might be scared of AI, but the fact that AI could potentially help you get somebody into the back of your car sooner to go see a house in the real world is great. Not only that, sellers,
Yeah.
right? Sellers are going to need this information to know where their landing spot is going to be. We keep telling sellers right now that, like, hey, you sell your house in 3 days and 25 multiple offers. Yeah, no kidding. They've known that for about 10 years now, right? Especially in your guys' neck of the woods. It's where they're going to go is what's freaking them out. So they're researching where they're going to be landing more than anything. So if anything, you may not care about AI, but know how marketing is going to be affecting it, right? You go further beyond that, boy, the MLS is starting to see some really cool things when it comes to AI. Compliance now is the number one thing. So if you see a cuss word on the wall of your, live, laugh, love mural in your kitchen, if there's a cuss word in it, AI will now read that and kick it out of the MLS, right? I'm not sure if that's in the MLS in the Tennessee area, but
I've heard kind of a little bit of that brewing, and I don't know if it's here for our local market, but I think that the adaptation of this is kind of like wildflower fire. So it's kind of like, if it's not there, it's coming, and we just haven't seen that quite yet. It's definitely and happening so quickly.
oh,
I've heard about that though too.
yeah, it's going to happen.
I,
It's a company called Recipe that AI already does this kind of stuff. That it's just a matter of time before it hits. I don't know if they're in real tracks or anything like that in Tennessee, but they're in MLS across the country now. So you're seeing
yeah.
things. So it's AI saving people time, but it's also keeping them safe, right? And making sure that they're complying with not only kind of potential consumer issues, but things like fair housing as well. So you're already seeing that come into play along with this chatbot interaction where we've all checked into a hotel and you get that text message saying, "How was your stay, Mr. and Mrs. Hata?" about, within our hotel. That's going to get a lot smarter, and you'll see a lot more of that getting into real estate. I think where you're seeing things over the next couple of years is use Copilot with Microsoft in order to make your email smarter, so that you can tell it to make a PowerPoint presentation or a CMA about that information into it. The Copilot app is already available for you to download if you want to use that on your iPhone or your Microsoft device. Realize because of AI, Microsoft now is worth more than Google. And that's an amazing thing when you think about what's happening right now. It's worth more than Google and Apple right now. So like Microsoft, with the way that they are spending money on AI, it's going to be amazing. And then you look even further abreast, and we're talking 5-6 years out now. Immersive applications, being able to walk through a home, know where you want to go based on your previous interaction on the internet. It's stuff like this where you can't understate how much AI right now is saving people time, it's keeping them safe, but also it's helping them make better decisions, which is, that's the kind of world that is fraught with fear for a lot of folks.
Well, and I think that for a lot of agents, this seems super overwhelming. Like it feels like, how do I get started? What are the right things I should be doing? I think you just gave several really great tips on like, okay, you should be adding this to your search engine, adding this to your email, more than just the descriptions. I think that it does seem super overwhelming from a people person centered type of business, like bringing technology into that. But I feel like it's not necessarily a replacement. The more I'm learning about it, it's not a replacement, it's an enhancement, honestly. It, like you said, it's helping people make better decisions, but ultimately they're still making those decisions. A computer's not taking over making decisions. A computer is not taking over that interaction. It's just enhancing it. I feel like that's kind of what I've been taking away as I'm learning and figuring out, okay, what do we need to pull in? What do we need to be changing and doing better, keeping up with this as well?
I got to realize that like the best technology right now is not seen, it's not heard, it's going to be embedded and entrenched within stuff you're already using, right? So Microsoft Office, your Gmail, all these things that are out there that not only you use, but consumers use. So if it only helps them make a better decision, because no one's got time anymore, right? People are out there, they're stuck in traffic, they're trying to get their kids to school, right? The peak search hours for real estate is between 9 and midnight. So like when it comes to all these things, if things are happening that helps remove friction and facilitate a better transaction with people when we're all asleep, that's pretty dang cool.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. I feel like this is so, and Ashley's more quiet today because she's like, her brain is moving in all the directions. Like the two of you are very much in sync. And for me, I'm like, what is this going to change? And how are my people going to be affected, et cetera? She's like, time saving, more efficient. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like I feel like out of us, I was the first one of us to start using Chat GPT, and I was like raving about it and all the things. So do you think, what challenges, you've talked a lot about like how it helps consumers make better decisions, it helps you be more informed, saves you time, but what kind of challenges can agents expect using the different types of AI
to overcome?
So let's not even talk about AI for a second, right? Ain't nobody used an iPhone until buyers and sellers started using iPhones, right? Yeah, we were going to have our Blackberries until we were cold and dead and had them pried out of our hands, right? So what my biggest concern right now, because of all of this stuff happening in this industry, is that I'm seeing now even more and more of the circling of the wagons, protectionism of data, of information, of knowledge, and of wisdom. People are freaking out, I think, over the wrong things, and they don't realize that buyers and sellers, and now I am one, right? Because I haven't had access to the MLS in a couple of years. Now I am one. I can tell you that no one out there cares about the drama that the real estate industry is experiencing right now, right? And I would say that is a huge opportunity if you're out there thinking about what's next and what your business looks like going forward, right? And if you focus on those opportunities, be a lot more consumer centric, be open to what they want, what they don't know that they need yet, we're going to be okay as an industry. And that's what I think right now. It's not you folks like you. It's folks who pull the strings at higher levels that they want to protect their jobs, and it's not cool. You know what I mean? So I worry about things like that when it comes to real estate. And I think, moreover, I think the big thing is time. We are you guys mentioned it
Mm-hmm.
earlier, right? It's like if you thought that the last 5 years in this business was normal, you've got another thing coming, right? I was just having
Yeah.
a conversation with a bunch of agents this morning. I'm like, normal was 60 to 70, 90 days on market, and you had to talk to somebody every day in order to in order to appease them and make sure that they're okay. And what I worry about right now is you got so many people freaking out about leads, and all these things to get business today. They're not thinking about not even a month out, 2 months out, or even like this summer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you're out there and you're thriving right now, great, but don't keep your eye on the ball. Don't take your eye off the ball. Just get out there and make sure that you're serving buyers and sellers at an extremely high level, because AI won't be able to take you out of that. I worry about the fact that sellers now don't need to move, and they are stuck in low interest rates. 5%, by the way, is where
Yep.
we're seeing behind the scenes with us that causes people to move, and people's businesses right now are not set up for that. So this is all industry related, and how much we're not jiving right now with what buyers and sellers need, and it's going to be painful over the next, I think, year to 2 years. That we all need to start jiving with what they want, what they need, so that they're not going to use you today, but they'll use you 6 months, a year from now. And technology like this will help, right? So I would only invest in technology that would help me with this long-term client curation issue that we have.
And you're speaking so much our language, because that's a lot of, what we talk about here on the podcast, how we perform with real estate. It is like the foreverness of being there, today, tomorrow, forever kind of concept. And so when you're talking about different technologies, what specifically can agents that are in a similar path and agree exactly with what you're saying, what technologies besides kind of what you've briefly touched on should they be implementing with their business? To help with that, to help with what consumers need now, which is not necessarily real estate. I know you talked about getting into like smaller neighborhoods, like making sure that you're helping um, give more education and more of a different approach than like being, oh, it's about Clarksville. Okay, Clarksville has, almost 200,000, people in our population that we have, and there's so many different economics to that, different neighborhoods, different sides of that town, and like really not being about the big picture. But when you're talking about AI applications, what would you say would be, specific things that we could be looking and latching into right now?
Yeah, I think 99.9% of agents out there, brokerage owners, team leads, whatever, they're using their CRM wrong, right? So like, if there's anything
Mm-hmm.
that you can do right now is look into a CRM that can help you using AI. A lot of them are using that right now to extract data from the internet based on what sellers are looking at right now, right? Putting that in their AI and then running with it. So there's a lot of those that can do that. Like Lofty is a really good one. RealVolve can do things like that. So like getting out there and just getting their dang CRM up and running and
Yeah.
using it. And
Mm-hmm.
frankly, right now, if the best thing that you can do is talk to a previous buyer of yours, because if you look at the stats, I think Tom Ferry mentioned it. Like 2 out of 3 people hate the house that they're in, because if they bought it
Yeah.
anytime in the last 3 years, they settled on it, right? So
Yeah.
like, I would talk to these people right now. I would reach out to anybody that you're seeing on the Facebooks, maybe saying, hey, they're having a hard time right now with the economy. And if you look at the other sets that are happening, this is when like realtors need to be armchair economists, right? And recognize the fact that there are people out there hurting, and real estate's part of it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like, going out there and just paying the frick attention to what people have to say, using your CRM to make smarter messaging, like use ChatGPT for that. Make a smarter email message that says, hey, I'm here to help. Use and there correctly, ChatGPT, and we're going to be all good. Send that email out to my sellers out there, so you can open up some inventory internally. And then I would start really looking into, ask ChatGPT to do something like looking into your brokerage's brand. I know where you guys are at, but there are a lot of other brokerages out there that have the availability to help people move from the house within their neighborhood to the inside the state, or into the next region or other parts of the country, right? So these are all things that if you're using ChatGPT to be a better marketer, to look at the data that's out there, right? I would ask ChatGPT right now, where are people in Clarksville moving to, right? And
Mm-hmm.
create that information that just was released by NAR about a month ago, right? Where people are moving from and moving to. So
Mm-hmm.
you can use Chat GPT and AI right now just to have really good conversations with the internet about the data that we're already seeing.
Love that.
Do you think would you recommend people paying for the paid version of ChatGPT if you want that current information, or do you think that you would? Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking too. I pay for the paid version and I like it because it is a little bit more up to date. Not always, but it's a little bit
I don't
better.
even know what is the paid. Why haven't they been soliciting to me for this? I
It's
didn't even
probably
know there
whatever
was.
you input. They're like, we don't. She can't handle it.
There's no help for
They're
her.
they're they're already they're already
I didn't even know that there was a paid version of this.
yeah
What is this that you speak
yeah
of? Okay, now I need to learn on this.
yeah. It's,
Raise your hand if you have no clue what these nerds are talking about right now.
yeah, you pay for it, you get up to date information, and you have more ready access
Okay.
to it. Yeah, it's like $20 a month or something like that. It's well worth
Hmm.
worth the cost, and
Okay.
then it opens up developer features for you as well. And they're not telling anybody because they're already making like billions of dollars.
Okay. Well, they don't
Yeah.
need Tiffany. Okay, got it. Got it. So if you're like me, you got to figure out where that is and you need to subscribe now.
Yep.
That is a must do after we're off of here. So, okay, awesome. All right.
Okay, so do you think there's like concern with different AI algorithms, if you will? I know you said that AI can, what are the words I'm looking for? You're like, I don't know. Like when they look at the MLS
As in,
and they can proof and take out like a cuss word on your wall or whatever, do you
mhm.
think that there's like any concerns that we should be looking for in our chat GPT responses where we should be concerned about fair housing or like fairness to all parties kind of thing or bias even?
Yeah. I think that there are things that it can't learn. AI can't learn without us putting information out there. And I think we are
Okay.
as an industry. So take the MLS out of the equation. We are as an industry really horrible at talking about our value proposition and our trust proposition, right? We live in this whole world of sameness with websites that, I mean, they're literally built by the same people with different logos on it saying the exact same thing. None of it matters to consumers who have Google to look at all the real estate that they think that they need with information that they think is important, right? So there's nuance in Tennessee I know of that it doesn't exist in other parts of the country. You got to be sharing that as marketing. So until we start doing that, AI can't learn from the industry to be able to share our value proposition and trust proposition with consumers out there who are going to take 10 years to pull the trigger on a home, right? Buy or sale, because at the rate where people aren't making money and inflation staying the way it is, it's going to take longer and longer for people to buy and sell. They're going to continue to dream online. These are the things we should do. Everything else, AI will learn. I was looking at a Instagram post from earlier today. One of my favorite bands re-released their album, Jawbox, by the way. Fantastic DC based hardcore punk band. They're amazing. But on the cover of their album CDs, back before we downloaded music, there was a toy with a nipple exposed. It's like a little doll, like it's weird, and it was showing up. AI kicked that thing out, right? And it was funny because
Mm.
it was like 28 years later, the suits at RCA were right about having a problem with our album cover, right? Because AI saw that and kicked it out. At some point, AI will understand what art is, right? We'll understand
Mm.
what art versus like an actual nipple looks like, and that is because the amount of information being put online. This is where like real estate people, this is when they get really scared. The amount of information that's being thrown online right now is I mean, you can't put words on it. It doubles and triples every year. Nothing gets better by 4x or 5x every year, except for the information being dumped online, and AI is learning from every single bit of that. So while right now it's learning about how awful we are as human beings, if you look at social media, if you look at most of the crap on the internet, at some point it'll learn, but then also take contextual information that will help it learn what art is versus an actual like naked person, right? So that stuff is already happening out there. Where we're missing the boat as real estate people is adding to that. Like we need to add to that deluge of information being put out there. That's true, that's correct, that's right, and that's factual. And that it's some stuff that we are not putting out there right now. Like what is the commission? Is it negotiable? Who pays what? How does, it's not even that. It's like who's the underwriter? Who is what does title insurance do? Right? It's all these things that are out there right now. If you look at all the information online, there's a huge vacuum there, and you're having companies fill it that shouldn't be.
So we know that AI is evolving and changing every single day, every year, every month. And so, Nobu, what would you say are some of the emerging technologies, AI applications that you foresee um, coming to us in the next few years?
Yeah, I think the big
Or
one.
now.
Yeah. Well, now, right, or whenever, right? I think the big one when it comes to emerging tech is AI will power what we in the industry call interoperability. So, like, you could be using something, I could be using something, and your consumer could be using a third thing, and AI will extract information where it needs to put it in, like, maybe the right transaction management tool and the right contract tool, right? So that is the thing that I'm most excited about right now. So you'll see a lot more of that coming into play with technologies, probably that you're already working with right now. It's causing a little bit of strife within the industry on my end of things because if a brokerage invests in it, should other brokerages be allowed to use it? It's like, I don't think we have much of a choice to at least experiment or to at least entertain what's happening out there, because it's just frankly the way real estate's going. Because if you look at the way, given everything that is happening out there right now, even right now, anywhere from 40 to 60% of agents out there aren't doing any business. So, like, there's going to be a lot less of us, and people are going to need to make money in some way. It's going to be interesting to see how that stuff shakes out. And the way AI, how it's been given to everybody, openai.com, if you just go check out that website, there's this generation of literal kids that want to give it to everybody so that they can embed it into everything that they're working on in order to make their products better. So to me, interoperability is a big thing. Is a big thing we're watching. Smarter CRMs that you'll see, everyone's kind of taking it and latching AI into their CRM. I would actually be asking, if you're thinking about your business over the next couple of years and auditing your stuff, which a lot of people do after they hear me talk about this stuff, they're auditing what they're paying money on. And if there isn't at least the application of artificial intelligence into their tech, I would probably move on, because you're probably paying for something that's pretty archaic and won't be able to scale, right? Marketing facilitation, right? There's a reason to buy Canva. And I love stuff like that, right? Not even that. It's like Photoshop is so easy to use right now. It's not even funny with the way the AI has been brought in. So, like, not only do you need to start thinking about what tech you use, but you need to ask your clients what they use. Because again, right, they've had a lot of time. They're using Canva to make things like flyers for their kids' birthday parties, right? And if you're not at least paying attention to what your potential buyers and sellers are doing, to at least understand how it works and doesn't work within real estate, I think you're gonna be missing out. So it's really not just about emerging tech, but emerging uses that your buyers and sellers, your clients, are going to be using. So, between now and when I got into real estate when there were 750,000 realtors. There's 1.5 million of them now. You look at that future, you got to prepare for more business, right? Because there's going to be less competition. That's not a bad thing, something you need to prepare for.
No.
But I would prepare my business for that right now by asking the right questions of not only your vendors, but things like your MLS, which your brokerages are using as well, because I know they're all getting hit up. Don't look at anything that we're seeing right now as a way to get you out of the equation. You can't smell cat pee online, which is, you need a rebel in that right now, and know that the quicker we can get people in the back of our cars to realize that, the better we're going to be.
Yeah. Gosh, so good. So good.
All right. What advice would you have for real estate professionals who are looking to leverage AI in their business?
Yeah.
Besides everything you just went over.
Everything you just said.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other tips?
Yeah. What I would do is download the Copilot app. I would subscribe to Google's Bard email newsletter that they do. And the big thing with ChatGPT, just sit there and ask it better questions. Real estate people, we just ask stupid questions. of the internet, and you get stupid results in return. So like what's cool about like chat gpt is that you can actually like have a conversation that goes really, really deep. Lee Brown, a good friend of mine who sells real estate in North Carolina, says it best. Like, go 3 questions deep. Go 3 questions deep into Chat GPT, and practice asking formulative, really good, non-contextual questions that can help it learn and it can help make you better. So, like for me, it would be if I'm sitting in a market right now, I'd be going really deep onto who's moving in, who's moving out, and where they're going. And right now, I don't need the MLS for that. You could ChatGPT now has, if you're paying the $20, right? You get up to date census data because that census data is now public. So you can now know where people are moving into zip code to zip code, right? So you got to stop paying for things that make you feel good, which is what real estate people do. Like I can't. One of the things that I don't miss about real estate is having a whole conversation about headshots. As long as it looks like you from today, not from 20 years ago, you're going to be okay. You know what I mean? And people obsess
So
about
true. So
they,
true.
they obsess about that
Yep.
in this business. Obsess about what your buyers and sellers need and what they don't know they need right now, and start building really good marketing campaigns around it that you can use your CRM for. Because right now, if you're staying up to date, you're going to be okay. But you need to make sure that you're staying up to date with your tech, so that it can scale when it's time. Because real estate is really, really behind right now. And I think more than anything, if you're a leader out there in real estate, get back into leadership. Talk to the people in Tennessee, especially in Clarksville, where you guys are at, freaking awesome, right? Get on your MLS boards, get on your association boards, and start really pushing the envelope, right? Because we are an industry that is way, way behind. And until we start driving with what buyers and sellers want, which is what we should be doing every day, we're going to be okay. So do it with tech, do it with your actual like persona, like get out there in the real world, stop hiding behind a computer, and start thinking about how those computers, though, deal with our buyers and our sellers of tomorrow. You do that, we're going to be okay.
So
I
good.
love that.
So good. I mean, honestly, it's like when you think about what is an AI conversation going to be like, and listening to other podcasts, et cetera, we knew for sure you would be bringing just a different angle to this. And I just appreciate everything that you've poured into us. I know our listeners are going to as well. If they were wanting to connect with you online through social media, et cetera, how can someone find Nobu to wave hello?
Well, there's like 5 Asians in real estate, which is great. So so Nobu Hata, Nobuhata everywhere. So I'm on Instagram and whatnot. You could see my kid at Disneyland or whatever. I'm cool with that. If you want to hit me up via email, it's nobuh@zillowgroup.com. Yeah, my number. You guys can give out my number if you guys want. Seriously, like 9,000 people in
And
Denver.
your home address, your social security number, just reach out. We got it.
It's all
Reach
out there anyways, right?
It's all out there anyway.
AI is
Who
already
really
looking
knows?
at it.
We're going to put a charge on it, though.
Yeah. If you need an extended line of credit, this is your guy. He's good. He's good. No, we so appreciate it. We really hope to see you again in Nashville. The Rebar Camp is one of our favorite things because we get to meet great people. And if you're in like the Middle Tennessee area, like I feel like we've connected with really awesome folks around the country. But hopefully that is brought back again to the area, and we get to see you in person.
Yeah,
Again.
I'm actually going to be out there for your for legislative meetings for the state. So I'll be out there for a hot
cool.
minute, and actually week
Nice.
after next. Yeah, hopefully Brian Copeland, if he's listening, is doing his bar camp, because I would love to come out there. Just got to do it a little closer.
That's one of his whys. So I know that he tries every year to really make sure that he brings that to our area. And if you're, anywhere around the country, Rebar Camp Nashville, that is one of the best things that we do in this area. And really, I feel like it's a great place to be connecting with professionals around the country as well. So, yep. Awesome. Well, we thank you so much for your time today, and we look forward to connecting with you in the future.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. It was fun.
That was an awesome conversation with Nobu. I think that every time I think about AI, I think about Nobu. Just from the first conversation, when I was first learning about it, it stemmed around my interaction and meeting of him. And I hope that you guys got as much of it, much out of this as we did. Learned so many things today. So, Ashley, what would you say your biggest takeaway? What did you learn?
Well, I mean, a lot of things. I
Yeah,
definitely am
yeah.
going to research some of the platforms that he was talking about. But it turns out that ChatGPT is not the problem. It's the questions that I'm asking it. So when I get mad that it doesn't give me a response that I'm wanting, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
Yes, yes. I think that that is it's so funny. We always say that. I'm like ChatGPT is being dumb today. Like
Yeah.
this we can't use that for that description or this email or that whatever. I feel the same exact way too. I think that looking at the CRM, like the CRMs that we have, and honestly, even if like okay, I get it being backed by AI, like I think that's super smart, especially if you're looking at what technology should you be moving to. But even if you're an old dog like me, don't like to make changes, don't like to, tech is not your thing. I need to be looking about the messaging that's going through that. So, yes, your technology should be AI compatible, but if not, we need to make sure, where are they coming from? Where are they going? And start having those conversations about those problems that the current people that we're talking to are having. I'm missing the mark heavily on that. I am just checking the box. I'm sending out the campaigns. They're probably from 1942. Dinosaur age in this, and I'm not making those changes. So for me, really turning around and looking to say, okay, how am I best serving the people that I'm working with? I do that all the time in person. We talk about that all the time about the forever agent concept, but the messaging and really helping assist in what's needed, I am missing the mark on that. So that's my takeaway today is really buckling down and
Asking better questions.
asking better questions.
All right, guys. If you like this episode, make sure you give it a 5-star. And you can find us everywhere on social at Real Estateable.